Hi all! So today I'm going to be reviewing the Celeritas Aochuang WRM, which I recently picked up from the cubicle. Before I begin, I have a quick announcement. My young friend has recently created his own YouTube channel. He's 10 years old, and it's on gaming. So I've enjoyed watching some of the graphics and the way he does things. So I'm going to look in the description, and yeah, if you're curious, check that out. It'll be fun. Great. So the cube itself. So I'm going to say that when I took this out of the box, I wasn't too impressed. It was very slow, but at the same time like flexible. So it was like unstable and slow at the same time. So the first impressions weren't the greatest, but I have to say that's definitely changed considerably after some work. So I'm gonna say this: if you get this cube, if you didn't know, I had a defective version of the Aochuang WRM earlier as a prototype, which I tried to see the good in, but I wasn't a big fan of. But no, definitely get the Celeritas version because it gives it that speed that the cube would need in order for it to kind of perform well, as well as kind of has like gravitas to make it a bit more stable since it's a bit flimsy. So definitely get this set up, and the magnets have gotten stronger since then, which is a huge plus. In terms of additional setup, this is kind of imperative. You need to tighten each of the sides by a quarter turn, and put a drop of DNM in each layer. That makes it a lot better. So how does this cube stack up? So I will say that it's very much a Yao cube. As in, doing like kind of my like standard reduction edge pairing with this cube was kind of awkward, but doing like Yao pairing with this cube worked very nicely. I mean, it's very good with like this inner slices with cross edges, and then kind of if you want to spam TPS a bit and bursts, it does a good job with that. So it's definitely the kind of cube for a Yao solver. The feel is it's very crunchy. I think the 4x4 is the closest thing that it resembles, but it is actually a bit different from the Yaosu 4x4. I mean, the Yaosu 4x4 was like nice and like a lot faster. This cube's a bit more controllable than the 4x4. And in terms of its comparison to the previous model, so the Aochuang GTS, so it is a lot more stable. The GTS kind of like flexed a bit more, but at the same time, yeah, it's a bit more controllable than the GTS. GTS was faster. Corner cutting. So here's kind of how it works. It cuts probably like cuts a lot, like well, not all the way there, but like if you can see all the way. Reverse cutting also quite a bit, but these cuts take a lot more force. So if you're the kind of a small mistake will cost you more on this cube. Say like a Vault 5, like a small mistake is effortless, but then a larger mistake it can be handleable. As on a Vault 5, it doesn't corner cut do the big cuts as much. So if you're kind of like a beginner, when you make larger mistakes, you might like this. But if you're like intermediate, you make small mistakes, you probably will. You'll probably suffer from this cube. That's the other thing with that. I think there's a reason it's kind of in the top three. I mean, the MGC, the Vault 5, this cube are all up there. As of now, I still prefer the Vault 5. I prefer kind of this cube's a bit smaller. I forgot to mention that than the Vault 5, and I don't think it really makes a difference. I mean, I have big hands, but yeah, I mean, I guess I have just something to get used to. So in terms of how it stacks up, so I mean, I still prefer the Vault 5. For one thing, I don't really like the balance between like a little bit of like flex plus control. I think some people might really like that. They might like a slower cube that flexes, and I personally prefer a faster cube that's a bit more stable. So just I guess personal preference. The magnets also are a bit weaker than the Vault 5. I mean, on the outer layers they're fine, but on the inner layers, I think they have strength since it's a prototype, but they are still a bit weaker than what I would like. So, for if you can see this, like I can't really do M moves without it kind of getting choppy, right? So that's that. And then also, I use Yao for the most part now, but if I ever want to go back to Redux, I think the Vault kind of is a better fit for that. But at the same time, if you're someone who really liked the first version, the first Moyu cube, you'll be a fan of this one. It is quite similar in general if you prefer that. I know some people like my Vault 5, with the angstrom setup and a good amount of break in, it got to a pretty nice speed, but some people found the Vault 5 to be a bit sluggish. So this cube definitely isn't sluggish once you kind of break it in enough, and especially if you get the Celeritas setup, it's not going to be sluggish. So you'll have that. In general, if you would kind of, based on what I've described the feel as, this kind of crunchy, little flexible and smooth. If you're someone who digs that, which I know Lucas Eder loves this cube. I think you'll like that. So yeah, I'm gonna I feel like it's still getting better. So I'm gonna keep working with it, see how my times go. So as of now, it's not a main, but I mean, I absolutely, the Shadow V2 for like months, I like the MUC a lot better. But I could see the Shadow was a good cube, and then now, like, I mean, kind of after months of just playing around with it, I kind of finally adjusted to it, and now I love it, and I probably use it more than the MUC in practice. Though I still main both cubes. So yeah, no, I definitely excited to see where this cube goes, and yeah, if you're someone who kind of likes the aspects I mentioned about this cube, I would definitely recommend picking it up. And if you do this slightly more for the Celeritas version, I'd say if you're gonna invest in, if you're gonna get an MGC, and you're like on a budget, like if you're on a budget, get an MGC. If you get this cube, don't spend extra on Celeritas. Like if you can't spend on, if you can spend on this cube, it's more expensive than the MVC by quite a amount. I forget the exact price, but it's significantly more expensive than the MVC. If you're going to spend on this cube, spend the extra on this Celeritas version. Otherwise, just go ahead and get the MVC. It's not worth the money to just get the normal version of this. You might as well spend it on a premium MGC if you want to do that, or an MGC by itself, I guess. Yeah. So great. That's the review. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, check out my young friend's channel if you're interested.